Hey guys, how's it going? So in this video, I want to address a question that I often receive from new photographers or those who have just bought a camera or planning to buy their first camera. And that question is, what lenses should I buy? Okay, before we get started, I just want to thank the sponsor of this video, and that is SandCloud. So SandCloud is a company all about cleaner oceans and plastic reduction. They give 10% of their profits to marine conservation. So if you're headed overseas, consider buying a metal straw for your travels so you don't have to be a contributor of plastic usage. Also, they make pretty sweet towels like I have here and reusable water bottles. If you want more information on SandCloud, the link is in the description. Now, on to the video. If, however, you're still unsure which camera you want to buy, you can check out my camera recommendation in this video right here. In that video, I don't recommend full frame cameras, A, because they're expensive, and B, because if you're in the market to buy a full frame camera, it's typical that you've owned a cheaper, smaller sensor camera previously. So this recommendation is all for people that are first time buyers. So I remember when I bought my first camera like 7 years ago before I went on a big trip around the world. It was the Canon Rebel T3i, great camera, still is a great camera, but I did not know what lenses to buy from an array of what seemed like millions of lenses. Prime 25, 50, 85, this one is fast, this one is vintage, this one is manual, this one has crazy bokeh. So these are the things I didn't want to hear when I was just starting out, and it just reminded me how much I didn't know. I just wanted someone to tell me 1 or 2 lenses I could buy and the reasons why. My goal was to capture permanent memories of my travels and adventures, and also have the option to come home and share them with my family and friends. Alright, so that is exactly what I'm going to tell you today, the 3 lenses you need to have for traveling and why. I'm going to avoid specific brands and quality of glass and just stick to speaking generally. However, if you have a question about a specific lens that you're considering buying, throw that question down in the comments and I'll give my opinion on that. So it's good to know the difference between sensor sizes. We have full frame, APS-C, micro four thirds, 1-inch sensors. A very basic explanation for the differences of these cameras is that the bigger the sensor, the more information it captures and the better the picture will be. This chart here on the screen shows you all the different sensor sizes. When I'm referring to lenses, it matters what sensor size I'm referring to in order to get the proper full frame equivalent. So if I'm saying that this lens is 24 to 70 on a full frame, then on a micro four thirds camera, it would be a 12 to 35 millimeter, which is the same focal distance. And on an APS-C, it would be like an 18 to 45, 18 to 55, something like that. You also need to make sure that when you're buying a lens that it fits your specific camera. Remember, full frame lenses won't fit your crop sensor cameras without an adapter. All that to say, if you're buying a lens online, you don't have the luxury of trying it on your camera in the store, so just make sure that the lens is compatible with your camera. Now, on to lens number 1. And lens number 1 is the wide angle lens. So here's my mashed up, broken wide angle lens. I broke it shooting the night sky. When we had it on tripod, it was windy and it fell over and cracked. But luckily, just the plastic, the lens is completely fine. This lens, a wide angle lens, is great for several things. Firstly, any tight spaces like caves, indoor shots, urban photography where the buildings are right in front of us and we want to capture the whole thing. And also great for vast spaces like landscapes and nightscapes. It's also great for getting something in the foreground, but also getting lots in the background as well. For video, a wide angle lens is perfect for vlogging. We don't really need to worry so much if we're getting our face or not, because you know with a wide angle, you're getting everything. A popular full frame lens would be a 16 to 35 or a 14-28. This one here for my micro four thirds Lumix GH5 is a 7 to 14, which is a 14 to 28 equivalent. Lens number 2, and this is a little baby lens, which I'm getting rid of because I want to get a better one, but I digress. Lens number 2 is a portrait lens. These types of lenses can also be called fixed or prime lenses. This is basically defined on their inability to zoom. They're a fixed focal length. This means all the glass in the camera is fixed and usually means they're extra sharp and have a great shallow depth of field, a low f-stop or a wide aperture. Ooh, excuse me. You can get something right in focus and what's behind it is blurry and out of focus. These lenses are also great for macro, getting really close, getting small details that people often might miss with their eye. It has the ability to draw your eye to a specific focused region of the photo for some beautiful artistic captures. Another amazing thing about prime lenses with a low f-stop wide aperture is that, like I just said it, the aperture is so wide, there's a big hole in the lens, and that allows lots of light to come in the camera, and is great for nighttime or evening, fireplace type of shots where you need to have lots of light coming in because it's such a dark shot. So typically anything f2.8 or lower would make a great prime lens, especially on full frame, but if you're looking at Micro Four Thirds or APS-C, you want f1.8 or lower for a really good prime lens. Now, if you have a longer lens, like a zoom lens, this can also give it the appearance of a blurry background. But that gets us into lens number 3. So lens number 3 and the final lens we're talking about is the zoom lens, or called a telephoto lens. If you plan to capture any sort of wildlife or things that are far away from you while you're traveling, a telephoto or a zoom lens is an absolute must. Like I said before, these lenses also make for a great blurry background where you're taking photos of people. Because of the distance carried by the lens, it often makes the background quite blurry and passes for a good portrait lens as well. One thing I really love about a telephoto lens is you can get really creative with it. You can get a big background like a mountain and a subject and can compress them together by standing far away from the subject and zooming all the way in. I'm gonna show you an image on the screen now, and it shows you the differences between the background and the foreground while using a longer lens. The things in the background appear larger because you're zooming in and compressing the photo together. It also shows the grand scale of the thing you're trying to shoot. All right, so you have my 3 lens recommendations, but what if you're like, Mark, I don't want to carry around 3 lenses with me. I just want a small little side bag, or I want maybe 1 lens. I don't want to carry 3 lenses. What should I do then? The solution to that is you probably want to carry around a lens with a good focal range. For example, a 28 to 70, or actually the lens I'm filming on right now, which is a 12 to 35 on a crop sensor. This is a good lens for 60 to 70% of the shots you might want. I actually use this lens all the time because I primarily shoot video. This lens is stabilized, and it can also change my focal distance on the fly without having to change lenses. However, because a lens that zooms over a long distance seemingly does everything, it's missing that one thing these other lenses do really well. For example, really wide shots, beautiful shots with blurry backgrounds, and big distance zoom shots. You get it, you need these lenses to get the shot, if that's something you're aspiring to. Final tip, don't worry about buying a lens that you might grow out of later. Lenses hold their value really well, and you can always sell them online for a similar price that you bought them for. I always buy my lenses secondhand. I bought all these lenses secondhand. I have gone through several lenses reselling and buying, and I rarely lose much money on them, unless of course I damage them like this one I have here. But eBay and local online buy and selling websites are your best friends. So take advantage of that and go and buy some secondhand lenses locally. All right, that's it for this video, and I hope this helped you when you're deciding what lenses you should get. And if you're not fully convinced and you're not sure you want to buy all 3, just buy 1. And when you're out on your shoot and you're like, I really wish I had a wide angle for this particular shot, then that might be the time you should consider buying a new lens. So finally, like the video, leave your comment or your question down below. I'll be responding to them all. Consider subscribing and ringing the bell, and I'll catch you next Monday. Oh, actually, and a bit of news. I'll be announcing the winner to the Croatia giveaway next Monday. So stay tuned to that. And if you want to enter, the link is also in the description.